Let's take a minute and talk about the words that we use when we're talking to someone who has been scammed or when we're talking about being scammed. And these words feel important to me because when a person has been scammed, they're often extremely vulnerable in that time afterwards until they can really let the healing process take hold, really take themselves into that healing process and feel more empowered in those ways. But even so, words that imply that we're blaming the victim of a scam aren't going to be helpful to continue using. They do tend to perpetuate the stigma that's associated with being scammed. So I wanted to talk about a couple of those in this video. For instance, one of the words that we use and that people tend to use in talking about someone being scammed is that the person is foolish. They may use the word gullible, right? Those both imply that the person that was scammed is not smart enough to have known better. They're stupid, right? And those are not the case. Anyone can be scammed. And we need to remember that even very, very intelligent people can be scammed. And it's really about something else and not intelligence level. It's not about being gullible. It's not about being suggestible, which is just feels like a nicer way of saying gullible, right? And so I think even the phrase fell for, right? So that the focus is on the person who was scammed and not that the scammer is a criminal who lied. And so shifting the focus of statements like that to a crime was committed, you were taken advantage of, you were harmed. All of those are accurate and they aren't going to create more shame for this person, and they aren't in general in the world going to create more stigma for that person. There's a couple of others that I'd like to touch on. So one being victim versus survivor. I don't think either one of these is good or bad. I tend to use the word survivor because it feels more empowering to me. And I hope that it helps strengthen my words in when I'm talking to someone who's scammed, writing something for my website, those kind of things. I hope that using that word tends to give across, pass through to the person a sense of empowerment from me. It's also important to use the word victim because the person didn't ask for this. A crime was committed against them. And so they are a victim of a crime. There's many ways to use that word and still be empowering. And so those are both important, but choosing our words thoughtfully is also important, and choosing the way that we use them. Another is the word scam versus fraud. So what I've heard from people that work in this area with me, advocates, etc., is that scam is referring to when a person chooses to give their money to the scammer, whereas fraud is that it was taken against their will, so to speak. I don't personally see a lot of difference here because a person who is scammed, their money is being taken against their will as well. It's just based in lies and creating manipulative situations, we'll say, using manipulative words and tactics. And all of that leads the person to believe that something they think is true it's not actually true. It leads them to believe it's true, and the scammer's creating an entire fabricated situation for that person. So just a little bit to think about in terms of the words that we use that have to do with this terrible, terrible crime. Thanks for listening.